Yeah.
Okay, now
Part of
hold
my
on.
backstory, part of that whole.
Okay, but hold on, let me stop you.
While I was in LA, when I was in the club and met Tupac,
you didn't go
they was
because
on that Bad Boy tour.
Because
you
of
want to know why?
Big's jealousy, or you didn't go because
me and Big was going through it, but on some other shit, you know, I still was about my money, and our career shit was very separate, you know.
Okay.
And they wanted me to go on the tour, fucking saying it's promo. That means free, my nigga.
Right.
You know Hey,
Stop laughing because he laughed.
That was hard. That was hard. I respect that.
That's a lyric.
On the one hand, you can look at it like da-da-da, but on the true shit, I was, okay, not only on the personal side, I had found out about Big and Kim. Big was already dating Charlie Baltimore.
Damn, I thought you was going to avoid this.
So, no, listen. You thought what? You thought what happened?
No, that's
I thought you was not going to avoid
She's going to go
that.
everywhere.
Well, no.
You
This
don't
is
avoid
true
shit. You don't avoid shit.
But I'm not angry. It's all good.
Damn.
Nigga, I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm the shit. I'm just so And I was doing shows like, you know, getting like, I want to say at the time I had maybe 2 singles out, but I had a gold. My album might even been gold, but I know I had 2 gold singles for sure. And maybe my album almost gold. I'm getting paid like $7,500 just to do 2 songs, 3 songs on a night. You know, maybe 10 G's. Like, that was okay for me. Why am I going to go on a tour for free and might have to fuck somebody up? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to even be, this is me trying to be very not around that shit because I don't want to do that.
You trying to be grown.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. That sounds like a relax. That's one of those songs.
I was like, hell no, I ain't doing that. And I went to LA because this producer said he wanted to pay me to write songs for his group, which is who I was with in the club the night that I met Tupac, when Tretch was with Tupac in the club. I was in LA because I was just trying to make money as a writer.
Now this makes sense. Okay.
And they was on the Bad Boy tour.
So Pac was
That's
in the
why I
club
didn't
with
go.
Tretch. Tretch is
Tretch
from Jersey.
That's how they met.
Right, I knew Tretch from Jersey. He used to be at Red House. So he was the one like, yo, my boy Pac want to meet you, da-da-da.
I met you in Justin's, and we were just there, and I had smelled like weed. He was like, "You got weed?" I was like, "Yep." And I knew like the type of person you was. So when I revisited the picture, I was like, that picture was
I didn't
innocent.
know him. I had just met him.
Like, I could tell, like, after meeting you, I knew that picture
I'm cool though. I'm cool with everybody, and that's not to excuse the fact that in hindsight,
yeah, I did.
You know,
I did.
But we were just on everything, just talking about this like last night. But you know, it's like, nigga, you know me, I told Big I met Pac. Like, I would avoid Big's calls sometime to that producer's house that I was working with, just on my little bullshit, you know. We did dumb shit. But then this time, I took it. I was happy to tell him, because I knew, like, Big did not want to believe that. I didn't know Pac, but I knew what he said about him, how he felt about him.
Right.
And so when he even had an inkling of, like, at that time, it wasn't confirmed, like, he really feel like that, but it was little shit. It wasn't no social, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't know if it was even so much direct shit at the time. It was, that article wasn't out, so I was happy, like, yo, I met your boy Pac, and he told me he liked my music and wanted to do a song with me. I'm thinking, Big was, he ain't say don't do it. He's like, you gonna do it? I was like, yeah. I gave him Mark's number, told him how much it's gonna be.
And we say Mark Pitts.
Yeah, he was Big's manager, so after a certain point, I let him be my manager. Because I didn't have a manager when I got signed, but you know, it wasn't something that I was hiding. That's the point I'm making.
Right.
And my point was, if Big would have said don't do it, if Big, because we know Big wasn't on the guard, and he probably was a little confused. Like, I don't think that's true, because there's no way he could think that.
But you understood how he tried to use you as a casualty of the war.
Absolutely, and not only him, but the thing is, at that time, I didn't even know the bigger situation. When I went to the studio with Pop, I didn't know he was signed to Death Row. I was on stage with Puff at that Source Awards when Suge said that.
Wow.
I was there on stage, but I didn't know what
about that. She was
I was on stage. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. I had on like a champagne colored silk suit, Chris Webber, me and Puff.
Yeah.
I was clapping. I didn't know what I was confused and clapping at like, I didn't know what was going on. And
Yeah.
even when I went in the studio, until I walked in the studio, I didn't know Pac was signed to Death Row.
Right.
Like, I immediately was like, oh, shit. Like, I knew other people from just whatever I seen in the media. I saw probably, I don't remember, maybe a Danny Boy. Corrupt was there. You know what I mean? But I just started being the cool person I am, smoking with everybody, you know.
Yep.
I'm going to get this hook done. But I felt a little weird because I just didn't know he was on Death Row.
Right.
And I knew that this guy who runs this label had just said some shit about the person that runs my label.
Right.
Even though I didn't know where it was coming from. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know where it was coming from for even years after that, even for a few years after that, you know?
Wow.
Like, there's a whole backstory to all that has nothing to do with Big or Tupac. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Right. Wow. That's ill.
Big, I think what happened was that it was like, I don't know what magazine, it may have been Vibe, it may have been Source, one of those, or may have been New York something, Rolling Stone. But there was an article, and this is this is after me going in the studio with Tupac. But again, there was no...
That record never came out, right?
I don't know. I've heard it before, but I don't know...
Okay.
I don't know whether it was just it's online, but I don't know if it was on the actual Death Row release or something like a...
No, it's probably not.
Well, it was never approved, so I'm pretty
it would have never got cleared.
I think they put it out with the girl Jewel singing it.
Oh, okay.
But do you want to
Makes
know the
sense.
irony? You know what the song was called, right? Wonder why they call you bitch. Right, imagine
that
like,
record, so
my
I did.
nigga, yes.
I heard that record before.
Imagine
but
how I
it
felt
wasn't-
going, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is what I'm thinking right now.
Right.
In the moment of me like, oh, this nigga's on Death Row. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it was
And
weird,
you
but
say
I
to your
still wasn't
knowledge-
100% clear
to-
on what was going to happen next until I didn't never get my motherfucking check.
So to your knowledge, prior to that, Big and Pac were good.
Well, I never met Pac, but let me take you back before that to the
Okay.
Quad Studio night,
Okay.
which is another story that has been, differently purported. But I remember, I wasn't there, but I was at our apartment in Brooklyn, and Big called me, boo-hoo crying after that shit happened, and telling me I'm going to Bellevue to check on Pac.
Wow.
You feel me? So whether anybody ever said that, but I know that. Well, I knew before that. I knew he would never. That wasn't something he would do.
Right.
I spoke to them too. They used to be with me all day. Like, oh my God, all I know is da da da. We ran upstairs, da da da. And the next thing you know, I think it may not have been right away, but by the time it got to public consumption, it wasn't more than a week later that people were saying that he said that, or he obviously did say it, that he said they had something to do with it. But I knew that wasn't the case. Like, he called me crying, going to check on him.
Wow.
That wasn't fake. He ain't have to call me. He was like, oh my God, this just happened, season him, and da da da. And I'm gonna go check on my man, make sure he all right. And then he came home later. But, he still kind of wanted to think that their relationship was a little more genuine than what he was hearing.
With the media and
or than
everybody.
what obviously Pac had shifted for whatever reason, his feelings about Big,
Right.
They was young. It was a battery in their back. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
If they would have met with each other, that shit would have been
Yeah, I
dead.
think he
That's
definitely
honestly
always was
how I
thinking they
feel.
would one day work it out. You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't there that story that y'all saw each other at a awards show?
At the
or something?
Soldier, yeah, we seen
yeah,
each
and
other
it was
at
like
Soul Train
peace
Awards.
for that moment?
No, it wasn't no peace at all.
Oh,
Shit
I thought that he said
but
something.
that wasn't the Pac we know.
Like
though.
Big
You know
was
what I mean?
looking like he couldn't believe that dude was bugging
They
like
was doing that, but he was with Suge. Suge, like everybody know that Suge was putting the battery in his back, had him, doing that type of shit because he had a personal situation with Puff. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't know about that, or that shit don't come around till you hear rumors about that shit. But it was some personal shit with them that trickled down to B.I. and Pac situation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Pac didn't want to do that, but that they bailed him out of jail. And he came out and,
felt his loyalty.
His loyalty was,
Yeah, he put the
to
money,
that.
yeah.
You can't knock him for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And our loyalty was towards Big. It is what it is. We didn't it's no other reason for me to dislike that man.
Right.
We didn't like him because he was going against my man. That's my boss. That's my brother. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it was. And that wasn't really who Pac was. We hung out with him before,
Yeah.
my nigga. And that's why Big
I didn't.
That's why Big didn't respond and didn't do these things. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't supposed to went to that level. You know what I'm saying? Like, Big, that's why he never made a response. That's why he didn't even feed into the shit that went down with the picture with her and him. He knew who he was and he knew her. first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't nothing to really trip about. You know what I mean?
Because how old? Pardon me, Steve. But how old was you? Because like you're like that was like the first person like they used you like.
But I publicly and that people knew of.
Right.
There's other people in that little
of course
picture
of
that
course.
you know it hasn't been. Oh, this is this and da 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 da. But yeah, I think in terms of like being, you know, kind of publicly judged in regard to a situation and making it seem like it was my situation is way more than it was.
You stayed classy too. You could have.
I tried, but you know, don't get me wrong. I was real mad at first because I was like, my lawyer. I called my lawyer like, can I sue them for saying? So once I started hearing they saying this, and he was like, I mean, come on, like, you know, like, you gonna sue somebody for saying something about it, you know, and I was just like thinking of big, like, yo, this could get really ugly. Like, I ain't about to, you know, not even knowing that the shit is way bigger than somebody saying something about you. You know what I mean? I didn't know the whole full story, but I knew that shit was wrong.
Right.
But I, you know, then after a while, I was like, excuse me, you know what? I know what it is. God knows what it is. And the only person I was concerned about initially was really Big and talking to Big, you know, which I never really got to do. Because back to that scene, when you say he came and he heard about it, that was really what you started talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
That happened, you know.
Right.
He was like, what the fuck? And I'm like you're bugging. But I think it was more so him hearing about the bigger situation.
And this is the picture, or this is after Hit 'Em Up came out?
No, this before Hit 'Em Up,
Yeah, I think
this
that's
before Hit 'Em Up.
It's the picture then.
Article. It was an article saying that I traded in my wedding ring.
I think the picture.
Yeah, the
came
picture was one thing, but there was an article with Suge and Tupac, and Suge was like, I traded in my wedding ring and took him shopping, bought him a bunch. I bought him the outfit he had on in the magazine.
That's MTV. That was MTV.
Oh, I don't know what it was, but it was also an article that
I'm listening.
they were talking about the same stuff. So you're right. It might have been a video somewhere too.
Right.
But you know, it was just when I heard about it, and then Big it was right after me coming back from LA, experiencing that session with him, and him kind of breaking on me, saying I gotta suck his dick to get my check. It was.
Wait, who? What?
Well, I'm just saying I don't really want to because you know, and I keep saying I'm not going to rehash it in that sense because I keep I've talked about it, and I don't, you know, but yeah, things happen in a different way where I was like, this isn't what I signed up for. So, you know, and I don't want to do that because I've seen another interview. And I'm like, why did I end up talking about it again? You know, I talked about it in my book, and I ain't really trying to shit on his legacy. You know what I'm saying, so to speak, in terms of just my personal experience. Right. But you know, I know that, you know, the way I just feel like it was definitely some other weird influence. Like I didn't feel comfortable around him on the strength of knowing anything other than the fact that Big really fucked with him. That's what I can say. You feel what I'm saying?
That's the saddest part of the whole situation.
You feel me? Yeah. That's the only reason I was like, and I was happy. That's why I was happy to tell Big, yo, I met your boy Pop. If I'm trying to fuck with this nigga, why am I going to tell you, my husband, who's definitely about to not trying to see me with no other nigga? You know what I'm saying? Right. Like Biggie, you know.
Real shit.
Which is why I was so offended when he had the nerve to be out with it. Like, nigga, what? You'll fucking kill me if I was trying to. You know what I mean? Like, so it was just weird. It was just all very quick and it was just weird, you know?
Because those kind of like cheap shots, you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
Yeah. Certain things, like if you're a real guy, you don't involve other people, my nigga. My situation is with you. Right. That's why Big didn't. I'm not gonna respond.
I think that was an easy one though.
But
that was an easy one because I did go in the studio. Right. Whether people understand the fact that I just didn't know certain, you know, I ain't looking for no sympathy, but I know what it really was.
Yeah.
You know, I was out there to get money. Like nigga, that'll be 20 G's. It's okay. I wasn't tripping off of no getting back at Big. I'm trying to make money, and I don't want to fuck a bitch up every day and for free. I'm just saying. On that tour over there.